What are your thoughts on marriage?
I think in Western countries, so like America, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, UK, it's probably a terrible idea to get married like legally on paper. I don't have a problem with the concept of marriage, like religiously. You know, if you're Christian or if you're Muslim or Jewish or whatever, and you want to get, like, say, if you're Christian, you want to get married in the church, great. Make it a religious ceremony. Cool. Don't sign that piece of paper that gets the state involved. Because there are so many negative incentives that have been lined up when it comes to marriage. Like, obviously, dudes get screwed over in divorce courts. Dudes get screwed over in child custody. There's like alimony payments. There's child support payments. Like, all this stuff is engineered. It's a negative incentive for the woman, right? They're incentivized to like marry a guy and then leave and get alimony. That's silly, right? So if it's within your religious context, like if you're a religious person, go ahead, but keep it a religious ceremony would be what I would say. Like, I ain't got a problem with that at all. I think it's a beautiful thing. But to get the state involved, I think it's a terrible, terrible idea. Because, yeah, you two might love each other now, but you don't know what's going to happen in a few years' time, later down the line. Like women are fickle creatures, and they can turn at the drop of a hat. You know, so
Has that happened to you before?
Oh, I've had exes who hate me. They absolutely hate. Some of my exes don't hate me. Some of my exes still like
But
me.
do you know why? Because they probably think that they're never ever going to get pleased as well as they got pleased when they were with you. They're not going to find another you.
But some of them still really hate me. I've broken a couple of hearts here and there. I'm not proud of that, but I've had a couple of relationships where I've really broken a girl's heart, and yeah, like hell hath no wrath.
Yeah.
A woman scored, man. It's. I get it.
I think I've been there before, and you know, I'm at a point now where I might go on a date with a girl, and I get to know them, and I think, do you know what? Like this woman is so pure, and she's such a good person, and I'm at a point, or I was at a point where I wouldn't be. I'm not interested in a relationship. I just want to have some fun, and I've just thought, do you know what? I don't want to put this woman through a load of bullshit.
Yeah.
Because I know if I continue this, she's going to develop feelings. I'm going to get what I want, but I don't want anything long term. So I'm going to go off, and then she's going to be she's not going to take it well.
Yeah.
So I don't want to fuck her up. So there's been a lot of times in the past where I've just not pursued it.
Is that something that you've developed as you've gotten older?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've seen how I've hurt women in the past. I've not intended to do it, but I've just seen the effects of, them falling for me. Even some of the younger, because if they're younger, they've maybe never been in love before, and then they'll fall in love with me, and I don't intend for that to happen, but it happens, and then I'm just like, I'm sorry, but I don't want this.
Yeah,
and they don't understand it, and then this is like their first heartbreak, and I've turned some women into savages, and which I feel bad about. But it's like I said, now if I'm going out and all I want is just to get laid, then I'll find someone who is also only just interested in getting laid.
Right. And that's not that difficult.
No,
like you go to the right places. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
like people are here to party, people are here to hook up. There's like a kind of a mutual understanding there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But maybe you meet a girl at the mall, you meet a girl at the church. That conversation might be a slightly different one.
Yeah.
And I completely get what you're saying, because like me in my early 20s wouldn't have had that thought, but now me in my mid 30s, I'm like, yeah, like I might talk to a girl and I'm like, I don't like same exact thought. Like, you're so lovely and pure, but I just can't see myself pursuing something with you further long term, that I don't want to like add an extra body.
Yeah.
For the sake of what? Just get my rocks off? I've had sex before. I don't need more sex.
Yeah.
Like at this point, I'm looking for like women I can have kids with. That's legit where I'm at. So it's like, if I can't really see that on the horizon, because I'm looking from the jump, I'm looking for like kind of maternal characteristics, like hip width, like can you pump out a couple of babies, you know, things like this. I'm legit looking for like breeders.
Yeah. So you still pursuing that at the moment?
Yeah, I haven't got any kids yet.
Yeah,
haven't got any kids yet. So
you're doing the Tate brothers.
We'll make it happen.
Tate brothers are spreading their seed as far as I know.
They're you know, they've influenced me in this regard. I also they've definitely like put a lot of ideas in my head that I wouldn't have had.
Yeah,
in a good way. I'm not in a bad way, in a positive way. And I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. This actually does make a lot of sense. You know,
because I'm the same. I definitely want kids. Now probably not the best time, but I am getting older, and I think it would be an amazing experience to have kids.
I've had two of my really close friends both had their first kid this year. They both had a baby girl, and like, it's so like I've obviously met the girls, and like, you know, I've got photos of me like Uncle Sterling with the baby and stuff like that. And I look at some of these photos. A friend of mine was sending me the other day, and I look at them, and it reminds me, like the photos of like me holding his kid. It reminds me of going through like my parents' photo album when I was a kid, and seeing pictures of like really grainy photos from them in the 70s and 60s, like with us as kids, like sitting on like my uncle's lap or something. And I'm like, like this is happening now.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'm gonna have that photo album. You know.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful thing.